You might be wondering how I ended up with this cat. Surprisingly, it all began with me trying to expand my research process by going out to see some human-made art. Since it was raining, my mom dropped me off at the train station so I could meet Tracy. She took her time getting there, but eventually we made it to Churchill Station and walked to the Royal Alberta Museum, or RAM. Right outside the entrance, we met up with a high school friend, someone we hadn't seen in years. Inside RAM, I kept trying to figure out how the day could contribute to my research. I wanted to link what I saw to ideas about individualism and community, but nothing was really landing. Most of the human-made artwork was in the human history section, so I focused on the indigenous displays. Still searching for inspiration, we headed to the Art Gallery of Alberta. The paintings there spoke to me the most. Their colors, the way they played with light, and the sense of togetherness and family in some of them. But even with all that, I still didn't see how any of it related to E.B. White's creative process or Charlotte's Web. Later on, when I sat down to create my own artwork, I tried to bring everything together. I decided to draw a figure meant to represent E.B. White, holding a mirror that reflected part of a barn and some logs arranged in a circle. I added color almost instinctively, without a clear plan, but when I looked at the finished piece, I realized I had unknowingly woven in elements from everything I had seen that day. There was the circular structure explaining different indigenous nations in RAM. The design itself caught my attention due to its symbolism of unity and collective identity. The color palettes from the gallery, even the reflective qualities of one of the 3D installations, had really inspired me, but I didn't really think of it until a few days later. I realized that we naturally absorb our experiences and fold them into our creative work, sometimes without even realizing it. This made me realize that maybe I was going about my research on the wrong path. John Dewey explains how self-expression grows out of lived experience, and how learning comes from engaging with everyday world. E.B. White exemplifies this perfectly. His writing in Charlotte's Web came directly from his own life, raising a pig that eventually died, observing a real spider in his barn, and paying attention to the small rhythms of farm life. His creative process didn't rely on abstract ideas, but on close observation and authentic experience. And that's why his storytelling feels so genuine. It invites readers, especially young ones, to make their own interpretations and moral connections. White wasn't trying to preach. He simply transformed his experiences into narrative form, leaving room for readers to discover meaning on their own. So even if he never intentionally followed Dewey, White essentially became a living example of Deweyan ideas. Creativity and learning emerged from paying attention to ordinary life and allowing those experiences to shape our imaginations. After we finished our creative piece, we headed home. Well, Tracy went home. I ended up going to a friend's place instead, and their kids convinced me to go on a walk with them. A few minutes in, they ditched me to meet up with their friends, and I was left on the streets with this cat.